Assalamu alaikum. It is Wednesday, 24th of August 2022, and in our series Reflections on the Holy Quran, this is broadcast number 350. And these days we are talking about the meanings of the words of Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 103, and this is the fourth broadcast in that series. These broadcasts are brought to you by Laser, Lahore MDS School of Education in Religion, which is a branch of the Lahore Ahmadiyya movement, also known as the Ahmadiyya Anjuman Islam. The Ahmadiyya movement was created by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, Rahmatullah Alayh, who taught us that although other people say that after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, prophets can come, this is not true, because the Holy Quran says the Holy Prophet is Khatmun Nabiyyin, and the Holy Prophet explained that by saying, La Nabi Abadi, there is no prophet after me. So now no prophet can come. Whether old or new, no kind of prophet can now come. And he also, this worried the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, who asked the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that when other nations went astray after a prophet had come, then God would send another prophet to take them back to the right path. So what will happen to the Muslims? And the Holy Prophet said that God will send reformers, mujaddideen. And there have been many mujaddideen in Islam, and Hazrat Saab was one link in that chain. And his distinction was that in Hadith, the Holy Prophet speaks of the Messiah and Mahdi to come, and we believe that this refers to Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said that although others put Hadith before the Holy Quran, this is wrong. Because the Holy Quran is the word of God. So that must come first in our sources. And then comes Sunnah. What is Sunnah? It is what the Holy Prophet did. And thousands of people saw him. How he performed wuzu, how he performed prayers at different times. And although this was not written down, one generation taught the others. Hadith is what the Holy Prophet said. And yes, we need to show care in choosing Hadith, because the earliest Hadith was written 80 years after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, which was a small compendium, but the larger collections that we use, like the ones by Hazrat Imam Bukhari and Muslim and so on, they were compiled 300 years after the Holy Prophet Muhammad. And each Hadith starts with so and so, A said to B said to D, and so on. So you can see that there is considerable room for misinformation to be passed along. And this gave rise to a difference of opinion between Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad and others, and they started calling him and Ahmadis kafirs. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayh pointed to um, a hadith of the Holy Prophet which said, if one reciter of the kalima says to another that you are not a Muslim, then it's the person saying it who is a kafir. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad also taught that there is no such thing as the theory of abrogation. Some people say that some verses are missing from the Holy Quran. And some verses which are in the Holy Quran, their command, their application is abrogated. And Hazrat Sahib taught that this is completely wrong. And Hazrat Sahib taught that jihad is a duty of every Muslim, but jihad as defined by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, who, when returning from fighting one time, said that Muslims were returning from Jihad-e-Asghar, the minor jihad, to Jihad-e-Akbar, the major jihad, which is a struggle against our own selves, a struggle against our greed and hatred and enmity and God knows what else you have. So with that, let us turn to our subject for today. As I said, chapter 2, verse 103. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولو أنهم آمنوا واتقوا لمثوبة من عند الله خير لو كانوا يعلمون. And if they believed and kept their duty, reward from Allah would certainly have been better. Did they? But no. So today we will look at the word khair. So let me go to my notes on the computer, which always get disarranged because before the English broadcast we have an Urdu broadcast. So its root is Kha Yaa Raa, and this root occurs in the Holy Quran 196 times, and we find 5 forms of it, or 5 words made from this root appear in the Holy Quran. 178 times it's khair, and 10 times it's khair rat. So that's 188 times. And then other 3 words there occur twice, 4 times, and so on. So al khairu. Now you can divide this into 2 parts. The first is something that appeals to everyone. It is the opposite, it's the antonym of shar. Okay? So one type is khair, that everyone likes, that is good for everyone. And the other kind is which benefits one but harms another person. For example, take the example of wealth. It can bring happiness and goodness for some, but harm for others. We had we know the story of a person who was left a stately home and huge amounts of wealth and so on. Now, rather than becoming a source of khair, goodness for him, it became a source of harm. In that, rather than using it for good for other people, he just got into gambling and drugs and more drugs and so on and so forth. And eventually he lost everything. And there was a television documentary, and the last they saw of him, he was homeless. So, wealth, which could have been a source of joy, happiness, goodness for him, became a source of sorrow, harm. The same thing can happen with knowledge, for example. It may become a source of happiness. If you find a cure for, I don't know, cancer or something, then makes you happy, makes everyone else happy. It's beneficial for everyone and so on. But if you use, if you invent a drug for some other purpose, which is harmful, then it is shar. So God says about him in chapter 20, about human beings in chapter 23. أَيَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّمَا نُمِدُّهُم بِهِ مِن مَّالٍ وَبَنِينَ نُسَارِعُ لَهُمْ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. So, what do people think? That we give them wealth and children and sons on this world, and that is because we hasten the doing of good for them. We hasten things that benefit them. There is a dispute amongst scholars about how much wealth is khair. And general opinion is that there has to be a lot of money. If you have £10 for your lunch in your pocket, so it said, well, that is not khair. But I don't know, if you have a large amount of money, then it is khair. But there are two other things that you have to remember. That, if you get a large amount of money by drug smuggling or smuggling human beings across the English Channel and so on, that is not a source of blessing. Even if you do good with the wealth you acquire, the harm you have done is much greater. So this wealth has to be acquired by lawful means which don't harm others. So in chapter 2, verse 197, God says, وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ. And whatever good deeds you do, تَفْعَلُوا, then God will know of it. Good deeds, تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ, whatever good things you do. So God has knowledge of that. He knows. فَقَاتِبُوهُمْ إِنْ عَلِمْتُمْ فِيهِمْ خَيْرًا. Chapter 24, verse 33. And if you find goodness in them, here it's not about money and so on, it's about nature. What they do leads to reward, if not in this world, then in the hereafter. This word is also used as a noun. In the verse our Jamaat always uses, chapter 3, verse 104. وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. And there should be a group of people among you who call people to good. إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. So here it's used as a noun. When you call someone to something, that has to be a noun. Um, you know, but it's also used, this word is also used as an adjective. For example, chapter 2, verse 106. نَقْتِ بِخَيْرٍ مِّنْهَا. And then something better than that is provided. بِخَيْرٍ. The word khayr is used, but here it means better. This is comparative, comparing it with something else. Or later on in verse 184, فَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. And to fast is better for you. خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. So you can see it can be a noun and it can be an adjective. For example, if you look at verse 197 of chapter 2, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. And whatever expenses you're going to have to incur, take them with you, or take money for them, because that is best. And it is also used as antonym to shar and also zar. فَإِن يَمْسُسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ فَلَا كَاشِفَ لَهُ إِلَّا هُوَ وَإِن يَمْسَسْكَ بِخَيْرٍ فَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. So you can see here it is used with dar, not shar. وَإِن يَمْسَسْكَ اللَّهُ بِضُرٍّ. And if God causes you some difficulty, then only He can remove it. And if He gives you some reward, something that pleases you, then no one can stop Him, constrain Him, because He has the power over everything. Then in chapter 55, verse 70, فِيهِنَّ خَيْرَاتٌ حِسَانٌ. And those from among them who are the best looking and have the best character. So here it's used to denote beauty, a goodness in conduct and nature. But we also have the word istakhara. And frequently you find that a Muslim is faced with some issue, something to do, and he says, I will do istakhara. Or he asks someone else to do istakhara. And literally it means to ask for good. And what you do is you pray to God and you seek guidance about, whether uh, whatever the matter is, if it's a match for your child, whether it's going to be a good match or not, or if it's a job or whatever it is, whether there is benefit in it for you or whether there is harm in it for you. So this is called istikhara. Sometimes people do it themselves. Other times they ask someone else who they think is very holy and pious and so on. They ask them to do it for them. And in Arabic they say, isi, isi, istikharullah hal abdu fakhara wakhara lahu. That God sought good from, that God sought good, and Allah told him what was the best. So al khiratu, so that is the condition, that is how shall I say it in English? The condition that person requiring some good, some help, etc. Al ikhtiyar, and that is to ask for the best thing, and then whatever it is, do it. It can be used as a adjective, like in chapter 44, verse 32, وَلَقَدْ اخْتَرَنَاهُمْ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عَلَى الْعَالِمِينَ. And that the Israelites were chosen, so can mean chosen, selected, and so on. I'm sorry, I forgot to go through the different meanings, but this is one of the meanings, chosen. Then we have ikhtiyar. So we have mukhtar. Mukhtar is doing something, but doing it of your own will, so that you are not forced to do it. So, if someone puts a gun to your head and says, pray, and you pray, that prayer doesn't do you any good. Because you probably are not going to get any benefit from it. Because you're being forced. But If you do it of your free will, understanding that there's benefit in it, then that's a different matter. So that is it. I apologize that I actually did have in one or two places some difficulty in actually giving the English translation from the notes that I had, because they were rather um, heavy words of Urdu and Arabic. So I apologize for that. And with the prayer that whoever you are and wherever you may be, may Allah keep all of you safe and sound and free from harm, I take my leave of you. Inshallah, we'll meet again uh, tomorrow and carry on and maybe finish considering the words of this verse of the Holy Quran. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, goodbye.